All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 45 super test. Today we're going to be testing out some Underwood ammo. So that one is another one that Mr. John G sent in to test. It is the 185 grain XTP bullet. So that thing looks like it does have a very shallow hollow point cavity. Your nickel plated brass is right at 1,300 feet per second. So we'll see how close we come today. So we are going to be testing out our Glock 21. That one does have that 5.5-inch Lone Wolf extended ported barrel in it. It also does have a tungsten guide rod and a 24-pound recoil spring just to help slow that slide down a little bit. So we'll be going through our gel. Those are 10% calibrated blocks. Do have our catch block behind that. So a total 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton tissue on the front. Like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how this round does. All right, we're setting back to 15 feet. All right, let's see what we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1189, so definitely quite a bit less than that 13, but that's pretty much been how it has been with Underwood lately. So kind of disappointing there, especially with that 5.5-inch barrel. Without those ports, and right before those ports are right around that 5-inch mark, so we should definitely still be getting some pretty good numbers. All right, and there's that hit. Looks like you got a pretty good shot on that block. And you can see a pretty big star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, dang, that is huge. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in and opened up really nice, you can actually see a little bit of fragmentation going on. Looks like it did carry that energy a pretty good ways. Maybe about that last inch or so, it did start to settle down, and we did make it into that second block in quite a way. So that's always good to see. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here at our widest spot. So we are right at about 3 1/8 inches. Like always, we'll cut these open later to get our more accurate cross sections, but 3 1/8 is definitely not too bad. So let's check it out from the side. Oh yeah, pretty much same thing from the side, so you can really tell what's going on here. So it came in, almost looked like it exploded in there. You can see a little bit of fragmentation, huge star pattern. There is a dropping a little bit of frag throughout that track. Then you can see where it started to kind of settle down and flatline, and there it is in that second block. So see the kind of measurement we have here from the top, from the side. Looks like we did have a blowout too, so it did dump a little bit of that energy out of the top of that block. And we are just about 3.5 inches, so definitely a little bit more from the side than the top. But definitely pretty good. And there is that round. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. It is facing kind of downward. And at our leading edge, we are right at about 4 3/4 inches. So that is 15 3/4 inches of total penetration for that one. So we're going to set up for a second shot and see how that one does. All right, we're setting back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1255, so definitely a little bit better than that last one, but still, we're not reaching that full 1300. Like I said before, Underwood's kind of been a little bit underloaded, and we've just kind of been having problems with them lately, but still not too bad. I think it was definitely loud and definitely had a lot of recoil. All right, so there's that hit. Looks like I got another good shot, and man, check that. You can see right down that cavity and a huge star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, definitely quite a bit of disruption there. So this one actually did have to flip the block, and we had to go in the opposite way. I just didn't want these you know, tracks to collide, so that's kind of the reason we did it that way. But you can see a ton of damage going in, really tearing that stuff up. It does look like it did settle down just a little bit towards the end, and we did also making that second block, and it looks like they're pretty close to each other. Sorry guys, it is extremely windy out here today, so hopefully you're not getting too much wind noise. So let's check the measurement out on this one. So at its widest point, we are at little over 3 1/4. So definitely a little bit more on that last shot. Of course, that's kind of expected. It was going a little bit faster, but awesome to see for sure. So here it is from the side. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. You see a ton of disruption coming in. Big old star pattern. Did definitely drop quite a bit of fragmentation going through. You can see where it did settle down. We did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. And at our widest spot, we are just about 3 1/2 inches. So pretty much exactly the same from the side and the top. So always good to see there. And there it is. It is that one there on the top. It does look very close to our first shot, and it is facing forward, so that's always good. So at our leading edge there, we are at 4 1/2 inches. I believe that's, let me see, that first one was 4 3/4, so literally 1/2 inch less. So a total of 15 1/2 inches of penetration. So definitely really good to see there. So let's check these tracks one more time from the top. So what I'm going to do is actually flip the block over real quick. All right, so hopefully this doesn't get too confusing. So this track going away from us was that first shot, and then the track coming towards us is that second shot. So here is that first one. So you can see as soon as it came in, opened up really nicely. Ton of disruption through that gel. You can see where it did start to settle down just a little bit. We did make it into our second block. It is that one there on the top. And our second shot, same thing, came in, really opened up in there. You can see a little bit of that fragmentation going on. Carried that energy a pretty good ways, and same thing, maybe that last inch or so, it did start to settle down, and then we did make it into that second block as well, and it is that top one. So definitely really good to see. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some really awesome expansion, and very similar expansion too. So the one on the right was that first shot, one on the left was that second shot. So here is that first shot. Definitely mushroomed back really nicely. You see it does have a little bit of gel, but it peeled those petals back absolutely perfectly right to the end of that bullet. And definitely opened up pretty wide too, especially for being the, you know, that super lightweight 185 grain. Definitely did a pretty good job. And those things did have a pretty stout recoil on them too. That's what I've been noticing with this 45 Super. It's you could definitely feel it. And here's that second one, same thing, pretty much identical. Opened up really nice. It was going, you know, just about 60 feet per second faster, so not really expected to see too much difference, but definitely opened up really nicely. Of course, we weren't getting that 1300 like advertised, but you know, still pretty good. Check them out one time from the bottom. First shot was on the right, second shot was on the left, and last time from the top. So like I always do, right here at the end, we will get our still shots, slow-mo, all that good stuff. So once again, thank you, Mr. John G, for sending this stuff in. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. All right, so there's that cross section for that first shot. You can definitely see we have some really big splits going on. There's a little bit of lead or fragmentation down that cavity. Same on this side, massive splitting going on. So I did remeasure both of these, and they are right at 3 3/4. So I believe that's exactly the same as what we're getting out in the field. So definitely quite a bit of damage. So let's cut them open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side and this top is the left. So you can pretty much see right at that 1/4 inch marks where it started to open up. Absolutely huge, deep cuts down in there. There's a little chunk of the copper petal that it did shed, but check that out, man. That is massive damage. You can see that whole path going through, but absolutely crazy tears. There's a little bit of a cotton t-shirt down in there. And same on this top, you can really see what's going on. You can see where it came in, parachute open, and massive channel. I've definitely been very impressed with this 45 Super lately. That thing definitely hits with some good power and has some nice stout recoil to it too. So that's definitely pretty fun to shoot. But you can see same thing on this side, huge splitting. A lot more of that fabric that it brought in, and there's quite a bit of little lead chunks down in there too. So that thing was definitely fragging, and it was moving pretty good, you know, almost 1200 feet per second. Of course, it wasn't our you know, 1300 that we were hoping for, but still pretty darn good. So let's take one more quick angle. Right there, you can really see what's going on, how deep those cuts actually are, and how much fragmentation is actually in that channel. It definitely, you know, those XTPs don't really like too much velocity, but same on that side. Huge splits though. So there was that first shot. All right, and here's that cross section for that second shot. So pretty much same thing as that first one. Really big splits, really nice star pattern down in there. Absolutely massive damage though. Same on this side. You can really see just how wide those things really are. So I did remeasure these. They are peaking right at 4 inches and averaging right at the same, right at that 3 3/4. So definitely really good to see. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side and this top is the left. So it looks like, you know, pretty much identical that last one, right? That 1/4 inch mark where it started to open up. You can see that massive cavity going all the way through. And same thing, just huge tears down in there. There is a little bit of that lead that it was shedding. You know, I think it was going pretty quick, especially for an XTP bullet. You know, the 45 Super is hard to really get any other bullet right now than the XTP. They were loading them with nozzlers for a while, but of course Underwood got rid of them, and you know, so they're tough to come by. I'm gonna be testing some 450 SMC very soon, and those do have the bonded bullets and controlled expansion, so that should definitely be pretty fun. But anyway, same here on the top. Came in, opened up. You can really see that path. Another huge chunk of lead right there, and same thing. Huge cuts down in that block, man. It is crazy amount of damage this thing is creating. And this one did drag in quite a bit of that cotton t-shirt as well. It did have a super shallow hollow point cavity, but it was big enough to, you know, drag that stuff in. So definitely really cool to see the power of that thing, and it's definitely growing on me for sure. I'm liking that 45 Super for sure. And you know, we are going to have 9x25 Dillon. We're going to have 40 Super, so we're going to have a bunch of pretty fun calibers coming out pretty soon. But let's do one more quick angle. Right there, you can really see how deep those cuts are. Huge cutting and a ton of that fragmentation that it dropped in. Same on this side. Absolutely huge damage. Crazy stuff just to, you know, see what's actually going on, even just with, you know, the XTP bullet. I'm sure if we had a nozzler, it would definitely be doing more, but cool to see that, you know, Hornady bullet doing pretty darn good. But there we go. That one was the 185 grain Underwood XTP out of that 45 Super. Thanks again for watching, guys.